First of all, the first thing we need to do is knowledge. We need to get the knowledge in Lagos.
Okay.
Now, when I talk about knowledge now, I talk about education. I talk about exposure. We need to go there. You need to understand. You need to know how they think. You need to know why they get the results they get before you start acting.
Yes.
Before you start,
study.
yes, you need to understand it before you jump into action.
Yeah.
Because most time the mistake we make is people just think filmmaking is just take camera and a microphone, get somebody to come and stand and then talk and act. You've had the film. Film is way bigger, is way deeper than that. As a matter of fact, film is an embodiment of four. You have the creative aspect, you have the technical aspect, you have the business aspect, and then you have the psychological aspect. You need to understand these four things. You need to colorate them. They have to work together. You need to have an in-depth of these four that I mentioned before you can say, oh, you can bring the Lagos to here. Now, the guys in Lagos, they understand these four things. But when we come back to our dear Benue here, I think we only understand one. And then we understand another half of it. Now, the one is creatively, we are very creative. We have talent. We have so much talent. We're talented. But then the business aspect, we're lacking big time. We only understand, I think some few persons understand the niche of the business aspect. Then the technical aspect, we are trying. We're doing our best, but technically too, we are not there yet. We're not exposed. Then when it comes to psychology, I don't think we have even gotten there. We have not really understood what is the mentality that this guy has. What's the mindset? You being a filmmaker, what's the mentality? Because oftentimes you will see someone who just make a movie and maybe he has it on DVD. He's just satisfied that, okay, I made a movie. That's the creative aspect. Yeah, you made a movie. I told a good story. And then you are angry that people don't appreciate your story. Like, it's not even out there. You are angry, but you blame the people. There's a system to it. So for me, the first way to bring Lagos is not even going to go and buy equipment. And trust me, you buy equipment and bring it here, you still get the result they are getting. You go and bring the actors from there and put it in your movie. You won't still get the results that those guys are getting. So it's not about bringing the actors. Like me, I told you, I said 99% of my actors were here, from home. But there is one that is not from here. But people are wondering, so why is the movie making so much buzz? Like the marketers that got talking to me, I told you earlier, they were like, we would have had a problem with your movie because you didn't use a known face. Yes. But when we saw the story and the production, Kai, I don't think we'll have a problem whether you use the known face or not. You have something that is selling already. Quality, and then psychology. The psychology of this story is, as a matter of fact, the structure of the story will even sell an actor.
Yes.
Because I'm touching on something that nobody has touched before, which is culture, the culture of the thieves. Nobody have touched that on that level yet. And then, it's a community thing. I thought about all those things. That's why I picked the kind of characters I picked. The story is a community story. That's the psychology behind it. It's a community story. So what kind of actors, if you're going to use an A-lister or not, will it really be necessary that you use an A-lister or not? So these are all the psychology lines that we cross. Okay, because most times marketers are asking whether you used an A-list actor because of the market value that the content will bring. They know that when the audience see this face, they'll say, oh, I want to see. So in the absence of using an A-list actor, what other advantage do you have for your market, for your content? You have to look for something. So for me, it was culture. I said, since I'm not using an A-list actor, let me represent culture. Well, let me bring out those strange things that people don't know about. Like going to Buku, getting the boat, carrying, that thing is strange to people.
Yes, a new location.
It's a new location. And then the whole culture, the festival scene where you saw one of those masquerade, I've forgotten the name of it. That one that looks like a horse that goes up and come down. You have that masquerade, and then you have the cat dance in it. Culture was displayed in it. So people are like, wow. So at that moment, nobody's thinking who you use.
Yes.
They just want to experience what they are seeing.
Yes.
So that's the psychology. So you need to understand that. Then I answered the question of psychology and I came to the technicality. Okay, with this now, how do we represent this thing? So I have to start looking at superior equipment that will support the psychology and the creativity. And then when I got that out, now once you answer the question of psychology, it helps your business aspect too. And because I got the psychology where the business aspect was easy, that's why a marketer can sit
Yes.
and say, well, for business, we're good to go.
Yes. Sellable.
Sellable. So once you can cross all these lines and T, then you are ready to start bringing all this. These were assignments I did 1 year before I even came to start shooting. I had to answer all those questions. I had to think through, think the box before I started saying, okay, let's start coming down to Benue to shoot, bring this equipment, because I have seen production where people put a lot of money in it. The money I did in quote, a lot of people who know the kind of funding I received, they were even laughing. Even the investor, they were bent to see what of quality you will get with this kind of budget.
Language is not a barrier.
Language is not a barrier. As long as you can subtitle. I watch a lot of Yoruba movies from beginning to the end. They don't speak English in it, but I understand the story. I follow it today.